With all this Super League news, does FIFA 22 have a chance of being a good game? I am now very worried. I mean, as I record this, UEFA, FIFA and the governing bodies around and the protests around the Super League are basically coming out and saying, well, you're not going to be allowed to play for your country. I mean, I've seen reports from a pretty credible source on Twitter that's been reporting a lot of news on the Super League early, saying that they won't be in FIFA, they won't be in the game. And it kind of makes perfect sense. I mean, if FIFA's blocking these players from playing in their competitions, why are they going to put them in their game? And even still, if Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Man United and Man City find themselves kicked out of the Premier League and into non-league football, well, FIFA doesn't have the non-league football team rights. It doesn't, use them. Will they be in the game? So on the surface, the cards are very much stacked against seeing pretty much all of our favourite players in FIFA. And what does that mean? Before people start getting on to me in the comment section about how there is more pressing issues than FIFA 22 around the subject of the UEFA Super League, I'm fully aware. I made an entire video on it yesterday. You can check out my thoughts on the damage that this could do to the beautiful game. But this is a FIFA channel, so I'm going to be talking a little bit today about FIFA 22. And I'm worried. Unless this means pro clubs can finally get some updates. Maybe just push them on over there. Chuck them over. I'm kidding. Calm down. This time 2 years ago, we'd already found out pretty much everything that was going to be in FIFA 19. This time last year, there were a lot of leaks around what was going to be in FIFA 20. This year, FIFA and EA Sports, I should say, have kept the cards a lot closer to their chest. We don't know a lot about what's going to happen in FIFA 22, which is kind of strange. Like, when I say nothing is leaked, nothing. I do get information and there's nothing coming. Not this time. That means one of two things. Either EA Sports have decided to become a fully fledged competent company that doesn't allow leaks of their product to come out for the first time in 6-7 years that we've really sort of not seen this, or they're not changing anything. What do you reckon? Oh, we all know the answer. FIFA has tended to go in 3-year cycles where they actually change it, and FIFA 22 would be, the end of one of these cycles where we'd like to see some change. It's on a new console. It's the first game to be developed on the new consoles. Rumoured new engines, all of these sort of things. However, I genuinely think the Super League could have a bigger impact than we think. Seriously, this could make FIFA a lot worse. We've seen Piemonte Calcio with Juventus, and that was Konami and PES. They bought the rights to Juventus. They've done it with a lot of teams. Luckily, those teams could still feature in FIFA product EA Sports games. This is a lot different because we're actually seeing, FIFA representatives, UEFA representatives come out who are attached to EA Sports and say, they can't play these footballers. If they go to the Super League with Chelsea, Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, these players can't represent their national teams, right? They can't represent FIFA or UEFA, whichever way you want to look at it. They can't play under their name, right? This is the game associated to those governing bodies. So they're not going to be in it. So whether you're talking Kevin De Bruyne, Ronaldo, Messi, Fernandes, Mason Mount, Harry Kane, Salah, Trent, these players, if they are forced to play in this Super League, and some of the threats that are coming out at the moment do happen, would not legally be allowed to be in FIFA. Well, legally, I don't know, that's the way it comes to question, but they wouldn't be in the game. If they're blocking international players, playing internationally. Well, Ultimate Team is $1 billion industry for EA Sports. It's pretty much the lifeblood of FIFA, unfortunately. It keeps the games alive. And you're talking about most of the good players not being in it at all, under any circumstance. Now that kills the game mode completely. It takes the whole idea of Ultimate Team out. I mean, nobody wants to build an Ultimate Team where the best players they can get are from Everton and Villa and Leeds and Wolves. That's the truth. That's just the truth. If 15 of the most elite clubs in the world are not in FIFA, do you buy it? Do you play Ultimate Team? Now, my thoughts on Ultimate Team are irrelevant here, but who's gonna want to even bother when the best player you could probably pack is Grealish? And then there's obviously other game modes that get massively affected. I mean, Kickoff. If you're a fan of Kickoff, you can't use any of the big teams. Career Mode, that's completely redundant. And actually, Pro Clubs genuinely is the only thing that could see updates to it. which would be a slightly hollow victory, I will be honest, if Pro Clubs Now was the game mode to be pushed by EA Sports, but I don't think that at all. That's not the direction they'd go with it. So I'm genuinely curious. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think will happen to FIFA 22 and EA Sports if these 15 teams, AC Milan, Juventus, Inter, Barca, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, all aren't in this game, and none of the players? You know, you have a hard time to process that because, like I said at the start of the video, there's much more important things, but we are all FIFA fans. The majority of you watching this video are FIFA fans. You've probably played the game for a long time. That's probably FIFA ruined. Like, I don't see how they can still create an elite level sports game product without those teams in it. They just can't. I mean, I'll be honest, they struggle with them to create an elite game. So without them, it's not going to get much better. And this is so different to what happens with PES and Piemonte, Calcio. It's just not the same. I think a lot of the threats coming out from FIFA and UEFA are empty threats because they know they need these clubs. The Premier League needs these clubs. They need the big six in this country, or the greedy six, as I think we should now be calling them, to make money. And EA Sports is absolutely no different. Without these clubs, the game collapses, and FIFA 21 could be the last time that you ever buy FIFA or play it or think about it. Now, I've done a bit of research before recording this video. I looked into the Juventus deal and Piemonte Calcio deal to try and see comparables. There really aren't any. There's nothing really like this that has happened to my knowledge for EA Sports and FIFA before. So this is kind of unprecedented. Just like the Super League is an unprecedented sort of change to football. I don't know what's going on in Vancouver, in the EA Sports offices, in Guildford, but they're probably shitting themselves. Monetarily, FIFA is doing fine, it's thriving, it's improving. I'm talking about the game here. FIFA 21, it's improving. It's, you know, every single year they're making more and more profits from the game. Now, the reputation is getting worse and worse, and there's actually a very strange mirror image of real life clubs going through it right now, right? These clubs are choosing the money. The money's great, the fans aren't happy. It's kind of the same with EA Sports. The money's going up, but the fans are getting less and less happy with the actual product that they're receiving. This completely destroys all of that. You know, you take those elite players out of Ultimate Team, and I'm telling you right now, it's not the same product. Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. If the best players you can get are from PSG and Bayern Munich, and that's it, I mean, there isn't a lot of variety in the best Ultimate Teams at the moment anyway, but that just kills it completely. Like, what's the point? No one's going to try, no one's going to pay, and that's what's important. Nobody will pay. So if this continues, as I've sort of rambled on in this video and spoken about, I predict that this could be the worst year FIFA ever see, and potentially the last FIFA. Sounds crazy. Sounds mental. Everything's so up in the air. I hope we look back at this video in the future and go, okay, everything calmed down a little bit. Let's not be too reactionary, but I mean, right now, where does EA Sports FIFA go if they lose those teams? Because they ain't going anywhere up. Could FIFA 22 be the last ever FIFA? Let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. I am genuinely interested to know your thoughts. I'll speak to you next time.